Hey guys! I wanted to talk to you about a game that I'm very torn about, or maybe rather I'm sad because of it, because nothing makes me so sad as wasted potential. And the game I wanted to talk to you about is Remember Me. I I remember that I promised you guys a while back that I would do a short video talking about it because I have so many feelings about this game. It's first of all, I think it's beautifully done. I really love the design, especially the cyberpunk neo-Paris. It's not like very deep cyberpunk similar to, I don't know, Deus Ex, but maybe something more like The Longest Journey and Dreamfall, because, you know, they fall into the same bag. And it really speaks to me because, you know, it's something like between reality and science fiction, because you can still see some things that are inspired by, you know, our world around us, and some stuff that it's so out of, let's say, out of touch with the reality. It works together perfectly, and it's just, I love this kind of design. And what was really working with this whole design was the soundtrack. It, on one hand, it was usually very classical music with strings and piano and classical instruments, but it was remixed so much and it worked also so perfectly. I love to listen to the soundtrack sometimes on Spotify, or when I'm working, or when I'm just, I don't know, reading a book. It's just amazing. It's very cinematic. It's fantastic. I also think that the story was, it was a great idea for a story. I really like the idea of people sharing their memories, storing them somehow. And I think the characters that were in the game, like for example Olga, who had her husband being held by the corporation so she would work for them, he he couldn't live without the technology that this company provided, so she had to work for them in order to keep him alive. But on the other hand, he was in a very bad state, mostly because of the technology that this company provided in the first place. So I really like those little conflicts that were within the game. And this brings me to one of the biggest weaknesses of this game, meaning it seemed very underdeveloped. Not in the sense that they didn't think it through, but like they didn't have the time or the money to include so many brilliant ideas in this game. For example, at the very beginning of the game, Nilin meets Tommy, who has a bar, and Tommy mentions that they have history together. Not like in a romantic way, but, you know, working for the revolution, whatever. And I want to know more. And she meets other characters that seem to either know her or have heard of her. And I want to know. I want to know so much. But the game is never providing those information. It's like there's this one story, we're going to tell you this one story, nothing else. And it's so sad, because I think if this game was designed with a different genre in mind, instead of action game with lots of fighting, if it was more like an adventure game with more puzzles. There were some puzzles in this game, and I think some of them were really clever, but there was far too much fighting. It felt like it was made painfully long just to prolong the time you spend within this game, because they didn't have enough stuff to put into the story to make this game appear longer. So they put it into fighting, and it was just pointless, like waves after waves after waves of enemies, which just, it was too long. When I was recording the gameplay, I usually had to skip the fights, otherwise I would have to upload an hour and a half videos, because usually one encounter could last around 20-30 minutes. And within, I don't know, one chapter, I had so many fights. It was just painful. It was painful, it was annoying, and I think it was unnecessary. If this game was more focused, we could even add those sneaking and jumping parts, but if we could just cut out some of the fighting, to make less of it, and focus more on the story, and on one thing I haven't mentioned yet, which is a brilliant idea which was in this game. It was remixing the memories of some people. You could enter one of their memory and change very subtle things about it, like, I don't know, move a bag a bit to the left, turn on the radio, or turn off the light, or move the gun so the person would, in their memory, grab the gun and do something terrible. I think it was a brilliant idea, but there was not enough of it. I think there were 3 or 4 instances. No, I think it was 5. I think there were 5 instances throughout the whole game that you had the ability to remix somebody's memories, to make them think different of you. I was also very sad that it was never mentioned the morally gray area that it is placed, because imagine remixing somebody's memories so much that they don't remember you doing something horrible to them, and they are convinced that everything is all right, everything is perfect, we are best friends, we are lovers, we are whatever, and you hurt them somehow. There are so many questions, there are so many discussions we could make within this game about it, but there wasn't once an opportunity for that. I mean, the opportunities were a lot, but never was actioned. There was never done anything about it. Because of the fact that when you cut out the fighting from this game, there isn't much. It feels short. When I was editing my videos and I was editing out the fighting, or at least speeding it up, it felt like this game is really, really short. And I think if they added a bit more of the story, of the possibilities that were there, that it might have appeared rich. If I could change something about this game, it would be a very drastic change. I would change the genre it lies within, because I certainly wouldn't make it an action game. I would make it rather an adventure game with maybe some stealthy levels and, I don't know, 2 or 3 instances of fighting. But overall, nah. I think the game I would make with this story, with these characters, would be mostly focused on the relations between them, on the dilemmas they have. And I wouldn't put it in this silly mind room Nilin has, that between chapters she was just looking very intensely and looking like she was constipated and talking to herself. That was just silly. I know it was a way to show her inner workings and how she is conflicted about working with Edge, but it reminded me so much of the scenes from Bold and Beautiful, where characters were just thinking to themselves and looking into the camera very, very focused. It was just silly in my opinion. Overall, I wish this game was so much. This game could be so much more. But yeah, I didn't like it that much. I don't think I would play it again. I would love to play not a remastered version, but I would love to play something like a remake. If somebody took the story and make it into something else, I would love to see that. Maybe one day the trend for remaking movies will move to remaking games, and we'll just get lots and lots of old titles remade into something more, something better. But right now, we do have technology, but we do not have people willing to do so, especially considering that overall, when Remember Me came out, it was judged as nothing special. And I think it could be special if the directors and the producers decided to take it another path, to focus on something else. But unfortunately, we do not live in a perfect world, and we have to take what we get. But still, I'm happy I played this game because it was an experience. It was it was something. So yeah, that was my small rant about Remember Me. I hope you liked it, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!